This series is getting better and better. I want to first start off the episode by telling everybody that the starting technique is changing for motocross. There is no need to have your taint way up on front of the gas cap to keep the front end down because of the integration of RPM sensors, new tire selection, and most notably, the metal grates for motocross. A lot of riders are now choosing to sit 6 to 12 inches back on the seat, a more of a concrete type starting procedure where you're putting more weight on the rear end so that you can get the most traction and get going quicker. There's really no spinning going on whatsoever. And if we notice the 450 class, you'll see guys like Jett where they are 6 to 12 inches back. You've got Jason Anderson, he's even farther back, and Dylan Ferrandis, he's quite a bit farther back as well. It is changing. The other thing that I find is a little bit ridiculous is everyone just loves the sand tire no matter what terrain there is. We can see that you've got Joe Shimoda getting the start in the 250 class, and notice it is a long start. Granted, the first area is a little bit shorter, but then you have this long section going the opposite direction of the start, and you can see Joe how much he's wheeling. And then if we look at the 450 class, the same thing happens to Jett coming around here, and he is on the outside right here. You can see that you've got Adam Cincerello. I don't know if he was running the sand tire, but definitely Jett was, and he is just losing control with that front end coming up. So it's because those knobbies are so long. They are the maximum length that you can have to not be illegal. So a lot of riders are choosing them regardless of the conditions, and therefore these guys are almost wheeling over backwards because of it. While on the topic of magical tires, why don't you shop puremoto.com? It's easy. You go to product search, you type in what you want. The all-terrain MX-14, that is not only good in the sand, but it is good in hard pack and slippery conditions. It is good in loamy conditions. It's also good at turning cream into butter, mud, whatever, concrete, asphalt, riding on the road, you name it. This is the tire that is good for you. Don't worry about buying anything else because this is the best tire on the market right now. All the pros use it at every single round. There's a little bit of joke in there, but no, you can shop MX-14. You can buy it locally or you can have it delivered using the Pure Moto network. Make sure you shop puremoto.com. Moving on to more technical analysis when it comes to the actual race itself. We've got Levi Kitchen here, we've got Deegan, and we got RJ. Watch as they enter the second section of sand rollers right up front. Notice what they're doing. So we can see, first off, we'll look at Kitchen. Kitchen is wheeling, almost like he's going into a whoop section. Yeah, these are sand rollers. Pretty much they're big, long sand whoops. You can see that he is wheel tapping off of the second one to get his front wheel over the third, and then he can start kind of doubling through them. Deegan decides to just head it through, let that front end float, and RJ does the same thing as Kitchen, where he wheelies, and then he accelerates off to kind of bounce himself over so he can start getting into almost a double-double type scenario. And if we watch Jett Lawrence come through the same section, he does it. He just doesn't lift that front wheel as high. You'll notice here he goes, lifts, so it's not going to hit, wheel tap off, boom, perfect. Yes, his 450 has more horsepower, but those 250s, man, if you've ever gotten a chance to ride a modded out 250 that is built for a pro motocross, pro supercross type track, those motorcycles are so much more fun to ride than a built 450 because they're maneuverable and they make really good usable power. And therefore, just seeing that Jett Lawrence is able to just keep the front end just down just a little bit, it enables to keep his forward momentum. Because again, if we're looking at aerodynamics, having your front wheel as high as Kitchen and RJ is not doing anybody any favors. It's just slowing you down. Yes, is it minute? Incredibly. However, numbers do not lie. And that is a perfect segue to talk about more of 250 power. We all know those Star Yamahas are really fast, but we've got Tom Vialle here on the inside. Yes, he's going to slip out and it's going to slow him down a little bit, but notice how close he is to Deegan here. And Deegan and the Yamaha guys were really the only riders that I saw go up the giant hill to be able to go triple. And notice how much distance he has made on Tom. Yes, Tom did slip out, okay? But he started off really close to him, and he should have been able to accelerate. Yeah, this is probably a little bit more deep, so it's going to slow him down a little bit, but he has to slow down to make sure that he doesn't overjump the double coming up here. But you've got Deegan launching it, and then he's able to keep it on the throttle to jump just again. And therefore, he keeps that gap and widens that gap to 3-4 bike lengths from where Tom was literally on his rear wheel from the start of the corner. And this is just because those Star Yamahas are incredibly fast, and most of those 250s were unable to triple up this hill. Lots of time was lost. Up next, I want to talk about 3 riders. You've got Hunter, Jett, and Tom Vialle going down the last hill before the start stretch. So if we watch Hunter here, he's doing the normal technique, just braking, trying to stay on the outer limits of the track to not hit as many bumps. The cool thing that I noticed him do is watch in this next corner, he literally floats that front end and has so much confidence in his ability that he's not rolling off the gas. He wheelies, and he's not worried about getting cross-rutted. That front end lands perfectly in the rut. That, to me, was spectacular because I would be afraid of having it fall out somewhere else. But no, he just lets that bike just float, and it falls right in line into that rut. That is the perfect definition of having faith in your motorcycle and being tuned as you are one in unison. Up next, we have Tom Vialle. As he comes down the hill, watch what he does. Boop! He just lands and preloads. We'll watch that again. Jumps off, lands, preloads, boom. Downsize one of the biggest braking pumps coming down there. Bounce. Just a little bunny hop. Then he's going in. And last, we'll watch the master that a lot of this series is based around is Jett Lawrence. As he comes down, he's doing the same thing, but then he decides to jump into the corner by doubling off of one of the biggest braking bumps. Did you guys see that? I'll slow it down so you can see him coming here just like his brother, but then here's one of the bigger bumps on the left-hand side, and he jumps. Boom, gets over the last larger bump, and he's around. So we'll watch that in real time. And why is that so fast? Well, while all the other riders are slowing down, he is letting off the brakes, and he is accelerating just briefly where the majority of everybody are hard on the brakes. And you do that in just a couple spots around the track, and you do that over 30 minutes, you're going to have quite a bit of an advantage over your competitors. And Jett, he is just a scientist where he is dissecting the track differently than everybody. Here, this is Moto 1. What do you see him do? I know what he did. He preload, bunny hopped off of this lip where everyone is slowing down. And what does that in turn do? Well, there's another shot of it later on that you can see where you can see what he does is because of that bunny hop, he is now downsiding the top of it. He's turning it into a double. We'll watch that again. Brop. So slow-mo, he's using some of the braking bumps, launching off of them, and then it's downsiding it, just getting onto the ground quicker. In Moto 2, what he was doing differently is watch. He then decided to use it as a launch to have the inside roller that is supposed to slow you down. He decides to double it. He is dissecting the track differently than everyone. And you notice that Sexton behind him started doing it as well because he saw him. So behind him, boom. There's Sexton. He's doing it. He's picking up on it. That's the beautiful thing about these guys is they're such top-tier riders that if you bust something out, they've got the talent and the skill set in order to bust it out as well. They just might not have thought of it first. And we're not going to leave out KTM's only hope. Do you like what I did there? You know, I'm talking about Sexton and KTM in the same sentence. Anyway, this is after the roller section, and Sexton was really the only motorcycle I saw do this, where you're launching off of a roller bump that's supposed to slow you down, and he decides to try to double it. That is just amazing. And how well that motorcycle soaked this up. Yes, Sexton is a very strong individual, so that definitely helps, and that bike is set up well. But just to think of doing this is spectacular. Boom. And did you see how close he got to Anderson because of that? Literally, Anderson has got 2, maybe 3 bike lengths on him. And now, boom, he's got nothing on him from that one little corner jump, which wasn't little. It was actually really big. This next clip is me nerding out because I was lost for words when I first saw this. Let me know if you guys caught this without me explaining it. We're looking at Jason Anderson. I'll give you that hint. Probably like, Johnny, he cased it. It was slow. Sexton did a better job. Okay, we'll watch it one more time. Did he notice it? All right. Well, if he didn't, that's okay. I'm going to show you. Watch him scrub after he cases. Mind blown, right? Normally, you never see riders try to scrub when they case something. But watch Jason Anderson. He scrubs a case. How freaking cool is that? Notice. Boom. As opposed to bouncing, he's just going to be like, oh, nope, I'm going to soak it up so it doesn't bounce me as bad. How freaking cool is that? These guys are so good that they are not just scrubbing off of lips, they are scrubbing off of cases. Mind blown. Mind blown. We'll watch it again so you can see it. We are getting close to the end of the video, so this is where I have to say thank you, viewers, for liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification icon. You guys have literally been helping me out so much, and a lot of you have changed your tune and have decided to hit that subscribe button. Yeah, I've been doing a lot on myself, on my end, and it's been showing as far as viewerships and everything as far as all the analytics. So without further digression, let's get into the last intuitive thing that I saw that Jett Lawrence did. Across the start, as opposed to rolling and then stepping on top before the start stretch, you got Jett Lawrence who decided to turn it into a double and almost a tabletop from there. So we see on the outside, where in here, Sexton actually ended up catching him because he's on the outside and he's sort of scrubbing it, and you've got Jett that is doubling it. And then you got Sexton that's jumping on top, and he's making up a little bit of time, right? But then Sexton decided to start doing Jett's technique here. So it's just a little bit different. If I have to give props where props are due, you got Joe Shimoda, who did the racing line the fastest. So we'll watch him. He will wheelie on top. Then he will use one of the braking bumps as a double. So here he goes. Wheelie, jump, and then here's that braking bump that he's going to launch off of. Boom. Really well executed. Way to go, Joe. I could see him going 1-1 at some point this season. So thank you all. Till next time, keep it WFO. Barra-da-da-da-da-wah.